Today I'm standing in front of a former murder scene in Morton Grove, Illinois. Located at 6000 Dempster Street, this building was the home of Sol Mexican Restaurant for many years. It was a very popular spot amongst Morton Grove locals, up until 2021 when it unfortunately had to close its doors, but the building still stands to this day. I'm going to do a walk around of the building in its current state and see if we can peer in any windows to see what is left of the once vibrant Mexican restaurant. But beyond just being a popular and beloved place for Morton Grove locals to enjoy some fairly priced Mexican food, the story goes a lot deeper and requires us to dig back a couple of decades to examine the unfortunate and gruesome details of the murder scene that occurred on the roof of this very building. According to Chicago Tribune archives, workers were performing some routine maintenance on the roof of El Sol Restaurant, which is the building we're approaching right now. This would soon prove to be a far from routine repair job for the workers, though, when they uncovered several plastic bins concealed under a crawl space on the roof of the building that contained dismembered human remains. I can't confirm the credibility of this, but on one online forum I saw one person report that the workers found the remains in concrete blocks. They didn't think much of the concrete blocks, and they discarded them by throwing them off of the roof into the very alley I'm standing in right now. And upon hitting the ground, those concrete blocks shattered and exposed human bones. Once again, that's not a detail that was officially reported in a credible news source, but that was something somebody said on an online forum. The discovery of human remains on top of El Sol's roof was tragic and heartbreaking in its own right, but it prompted police to re-examine a case from 1998 that involved the same building. At the time, it was called La Bamba Restaurant, and La Bamba's owner, Enrico Martin Silva, had been missing since 1998. By early June of 2003, about a month and a half after the discovery of the remains, DNA testing proved, however, that the remains were not those of Silva, but instead were those of Jorge Pepe Posada, who had disappeared in 1994 and whom police believed Silva was acquainted with. Beyond that, unfortunately, I have been able to find no further info on if suspects were ever caught or if any justice was brought to the case of this murder. The only other info that I was able to find was that an autopsy revealed that the cause of death for Posada was being shot in the neck, very tragically. So despite that dark history looming over it, El Sol was very much so a successful restaurant for many years in Morton Grove. As I mentioned, they closed their doors in 2021. The building still stands, so as promised, we're going to do a little bit of a walk around, and I will show you anything I can see in the windows themselves. Of course, we're not going to trespass, but whatever we can actually see in there, we will check out. So our first opportunity to sort of look inside this building comes when you circle around the back and then turn the corner. These are the side doors, and you can see that someone clearly has already been here trying to look in. There's kind of a clear view here. The wallpaper is still up. You can see evidence of a kitchen, but everything else is cleared out. Then as we make our way closer to the front, this is the side of the front. That's about the best view we can get. Not a whole lot to see. And then this might be our money shot in the front. I'm going to move over and see if I can get a little bit better shot. And if you look in the window of that doorway, you can actually see the old El Sol logo. That's pretty much the only remnant that I can see of the old restaurant other than the wallpaper. And I don't remember if that orange and blue paint was originally there in the restaurant. I believe it was, though. That is going to take us to the conclusion of this walkthrough. There's not a whole lot to see, but there are some remnants of the restaurant in there. So hopefully anyone who misses this place gets some sort of nostalgic memories from seeing the inside at least one more time. Share any good stories you might have about El Sol in the comments with us. And if anyone has any further information on what ended up happening with this case, whether it just be not reported on the internet or whether it just is a cold case that never got solved, or if any form of justice was served, your insight is much appreciated. But at that, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to chatting with all of you in the comments, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace